What's up, guys? It's Jacob with Side by Side Life, and today I'm going to be installing the Evo Powersports charge tubes and blow-off valve. Let's get this started. All right, guys, so I'm going to show you where these tubes are at here in the car. The small tube is that tube right there. This one right there. That's the small tube. And then if I can get the camera in a good spot, you'll be able to see the bigger tube in the back. It is that tube right there. And it kind of goes behind here and wraps around this way. That's the one that the blow-off valve will be on. And it'll be roughly somewhere right back here when it's installed. So let's get to tearing these out. All right, guys, so first things first, we're gonna remove the clutch air intake because it'll make it a lot easier for us to get in there and remove those clamps on those charge tubes. So just gonna loosen these up a skosh bit and we'll be ready to rock and roll. So I know some of you are probably gonna give me a hard time for not using electric tools, but I just like to hand feel stuff so that I don't break anything. Just makes me feel more comfortable. So, pull that guy up, pull that down, off she comes. So now, we can get into this charge tube that's way back here in the back and loosen that guy up. So, it's way back here. All right, we're loose. So that one should come off. But while I'm back here, before I pull that off, I'm gonna go ahead and loosen this other charge tube, the bigger one, because it's right here in my face, and then I don't have to move to the other side of the car right away. All right, that's loose. Let's move to the other side and we'll loosen up the other side of that charge tube and we'll pull them both off. Get to installing the fun stuff. All right, so if you can see, here's the other side of that charge tube, right where my finger's at. So we'll loosen up that clamp and then we'll have both of them ready to pull off. This one might be a pain in the neck to get to though. Oh, it's not too bad. All right, we should have it loose enough now where we can yank that guy off. There we go. Both of those are loose. Let's go ahead and pull those tubes. They do have zip ties on them, so make sure that when you pull it off, you make sure to get the zip ties. So you can probably see in the camera. You just give it a wiggle. Don't cut your arm on the exhaust because it's sharp, but there goes one half of it, and we'll break the zip ties and get the other half off. All right, guys, so I went ahead and cut that zip tie, and now I can remove this other end of the charge tube here. Just get in here and yank that guy off. Kind of easy to lean on the tire, but all right. Got it off. There's my clamp, but they send new clamps. So this guy seems pretty easy to get out. I don't know which way is easiest to pull it out, but we're gonna find out. I'm gonna try to take it down below, but it might actually be easier to go. Here we go. Got it. There we go. There's one. That's the big charge tube right there. It's out. Actually, those are also silicone charge tubes, but there's no spot to put a blow-off valve. So that's the big one. Go ahead and pull the small one off real quick while we're in here. Hopefully you guys can kind of see where I'm pulling that off. All right, bottom one's off. I'm gonna yank the other side and we'll pull it out real quick. Okay, so pull that guy out right here. There's our other one. Be really careful that you don't drop stuff like these. There's the other one. All right, so got my other charge tube, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put the blow-off valve on because I think it'll make it a little easier to tighten my clamp. Evo Powersports forgot to send me another one of these clamps, which is a drag, but luckily I had a regular clamp in my other shed that I can use, and it will do the exact same thing. Won't hurt anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on, get it all tightened up, and then we'll get this charge tube put on. Probably won't look as pretty as theirs, but it works. Go ahead and throw this little baggie on, and we'll be good. All right, guys, so I got my charge tube all built. Got my little plug in there because I'm not gonna run a gauge. Got my blow-off valve on, got the hose crimped, got it ready to install. Got a clamp on there, not one on this side. I'll slide it on when I get the tube in. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and slide mine in through the bottom here, kind of in place real easily so I don't smash up the blow-off valve. You can kind of slide it in, and then right here it kind of gets a little tricky, but it's not too bad. Go ahead and fold that hose down so you can get it by that little spot there. All right, there we go. We made it past. So now I'm gonna run over to the other side real quick. I'm gonna get it in place, and then I'll route this hose here. So all I'm doing is lifting it up onto this little bracket that the X3 has so that it's in the right spot. All right, there we go. Sitting right about where it's supposed to be. So now, this hose here has to go behind this other stuff. So you kind of got to push it a little bit, fold it behind, and then kind of route it back where it's supposed to go. You just got to kind of tuck it a little bit, and then you can pull it back towards you, and it all kind of wiggles right back where it's supposed to go. Oh yeah, beautiful. Beautiful fit. Oh, careful not to loosen those too much. Slide that guy down into place and clamp it on. Here we go. Ooh. You know what I just realized? If you have that too far towards the outside of your car, it might hit on your intake for your clutch. So you may want to slide this right like that and then tighten it up, because then it won't be in the way. So just kind of keep that in mind. A little bit of learning as we go here. All right, there we go. Charge tubes are on. All right, guys, the next thing we have to do is we have to remove this little Torx here. And it's right on this little black box. It's not very tight, so don't think you have to wrench on it and go get all Western with it. So you do have to pay attention though for the little O-ring, because you're going to use that again. So keep that in mind. All right, so after you get the screw removed, you just get a screwdriver in here, and you can get your little port off. Just be real gentle with it so you don't break it. And you can kind of pry it up a little bit and then lose it like I did. Aha, it's right here. So once you pop this off, you have to reuse this little O-ring that's on your block off port, on the one that Evo supplied. So don't lose this guy and don't throw it away because you're going to use this later. Okay, so I put my O-ring right here on the one from Evo. And what you're going to do, you're going to go ahead and just wipe that hole a little bit so you get the dirt off. Set this guy in there. You kind of got to give it a wiggle so it goes in. You'll see. Okay, there, mine is perfectly seated where I want it. Go ahead and throw that screw back in. Go ahead and tighten your screw down that you took out. Don't over tighten this, or you're going to be really mad at yourself. There we go, we're good. Last but not least, you take your little clamp here, slide it over this guy, put your hose on, make sure to slide your hose all the way down, then you're going to go ahead and clamp this guy down. Make sure when you're clamping it not to pinch your hose, and you should be set. All right, so the last thing I have to do is go ahead and install my intake off my clutch. And to be perfectly honest, I've taken this off before, and this thing sucks. See, the problem is you get the back on, and then the front comes off, and then once you get the front on, the back comes off. So I'm gonna try to slide a screwdriver in there. See if I can get a screwdriver in here and kind of finagle my way through to where I need it. The back's on, so we're getting close. We're getting close, guys. Back's still on, so just gotta get this one little section. Oh yeah, I think we're good. Yep, we got it. Okay, we're on. Top's on, bottom's on. Clamp's not on, but we'll finagle the clamp on to where we need it, and now we're set. All right, there we go. All right, it's all tight. Everything's done. One last thing to do, start it up. So I just finished up the Evo Powersports blow-off valve and charge tube install. Hopefully I got some good footage for you guys. It's pretty hard to film inside here, like in the tight spaces and everything, but hopefully you guys will get the gist. Sounds awesome. I did have a problem right after the install. I took it outside, took it for a drive. It was whistling real bad, so I called Evo Powersports, their tech support line. The guy told me that it's whistling because of the vacuum. It was actually because one of my clamps wasn't quite tight enough. It was the big charge tube on the passenger side. So just make sure all your clamps are tight and you have everything, you know, where it's supposed to go. All the tubes are routed in the right places, and you should be good to go. It was fairly easy. Took me maybe a couple hours, but it sounds super good. I'm gonna try to start the car up for you guys and hopefully get you a sound clip. I'm not sure if it'll quite sound as good as it does in person. Sounds awesome in person. I'm super excited about it. If you don't have an Evo Powersports blow-off valve on your car, go get one. Sounds good. So let me start this thing up and hopefully we can get some sound clips for you guys. Here we go. Hopefully you can hear that. It sounds pretty good. Guys, that's the end of this one. Hopefully you liked it, and keep your eye out for the next video. I'll be going over my cage. I'm sure a lot of you have been wondering where this cage came from. There is a hint in this video. Let's see if any of you can catch it. Just saying, just saying. Anyway, next video will be going over the cage. This cage is awesome, and yeah. Guys, I hope you liked the video. Go get yourself a blow-off valve. Talk to you soon.